Alright, welcome to another video on ChatGPT prompt engineer for developers. So right now I'm gonna keep track my progress looking at Notion, and since there there are several days that I didn't record myself. So let me open here ChatGPT prompt engineer. I just want to look at the test. If I click here, can I see the test? Can you redirect me to that? Right, when you say open. Okay, no, you don't redirect me. Cool, you uses the history for that. So we have all of this different tasks to do, which is the intro, so understanding a little bit more about the course and the course review, the guidelines, the principles and its tactics, the iterative process, especially when you are writing prompts or for prompt engineering, useful for single examples. But when you scale that to multiple examples, the recommendation that Andrew mentioned is check the performance in the average and worst case scenario based on this dozens of examples that you provide to the prompt. Uh, what is this? Understanding, write it down in articles or programming development process. Okay, the other is summarizing, so understanding summarizing. Okay, inferring, because I didn't record myself, right? I think this is based on the sprint 2. Okay, so inferring is something I'm going to dedicate a little bit more of time today. Okay, as well as transforming. Okay, as well as transforming on Sunday. All right, and expanding. Okay, and expanding to Sunday. Okay, so ultimately I can build the Sunday to Monday. I can build the chatbot application. Okay, so with that, I will conclude that in a month, right? In 2 sprints. So I dedicate like 3 hours or hour and a half. So in summary, I dedicate like, let me measure that, an average, okay, hourly, uh, hourly, weekly, hourly, okay. No, I mean it's hourly week. So we're talking about it's like here, hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half. So from Monday, hour and a half, hour and a half, hour and a half. Okay, so here is 6 hours, 9 hours, roughly 10 hours, right? So roughly 10 hours. Okay, so roughly 10 hours a week. Okay, roughly 10 hours a week. Similar to this for that. Okay, okay, okay. All right, cool, good. So let's go with inferring and then transforming. Okay, to make this quick recap of the inferring and transforming. especially looking at the inference. Okay, so Isa Fulford mentioned, let me jump let me jump into the course. Yes, that's right. So Isa Fulford from OpenAI, she mentioned, especially when she think about this task, summarizing, inferring, transforming, and expanding, like the model take this text input and perform some sort of analysis. Okay, it understanding the sentiment of a text, it extract names or extract labor and that kind of thing. So Andrew and G describe something important, especially for the machine learning development. So on inferring, when you want to understand the sentiment of a text in the traditional machine learning workflow, you will have to collect the labeled data set, then train the model, and ultimately where figuring out where to deploy your model. So if you want to, for example, now extract names or extract labels, you have to deploy a different model. And this process works pretty well, but it requires a lot of work to go through. So one of the great things of this LLM is that we can write a prompt for multiple tasks and we get the results quickly. So now the development, so the collection, the data collections, training, and deploying the model is now shrink vastly from days or weeks to just a couple seconds, especially when you want to get results from your prompts. Okay, and also uh, this improve the development speed application as well as provide one single LLM. Uh, yeah, it provides one single LLM or one single model with one single API for multiple different tasks. And when it comes to inferring, there are certain topics or keywords that we can use for that. So the first in inferring is sentiment. So ask or write a prompt to check the sentiment of a text, whether it's positive or negative. Also to identify the type of emotion of a text, and this is useful especially when you want to know the user review emotions. Okay, uh, identify the type of emotions, information extractions such as company or product names, doing multiple tasks at once, like sentiment classification, topic extractions, and then inferring topics. So giving a particular text, what are the topics, and count them based on that. Okay. So this is from inferring. Okay. Now, if I'm gonna take a look at the inferring here, for example, let me, my friend, go into the inferring. That's right. So I won't play the video. Instead, I'm just going to go over the Jupyter notebook. Okay, so here I'm quickly loading the setup, right, which is contains the OpenAI library and as well as the OS Python library. Here I am loading is the environmental variables, the environment variable called OpenAI API key. Okay, OpenAI. Sorry, sorry. OpenAI floor Open API floor key. Okay, so or underscore, and then this helper function so we can easily interact and write our prompts as well as getting a clear output. Okay, so okay, cool. So now, especially on the inferring here, we are actually loading is a lamp review, and we want to figuring out wants to know is the sentiment of that. So what you can do is something like this. So what is the product, or you can say based on that. Okay? So what is the sentiment sentiment? Okay. So what is the sentiment of the review? Okay. Of the following product review. So what is the sentiment of the following? Yeah, and when you write prompts like this to be very descriptive, it's also helpful for other developers, right? So what is the sentiment of the following uh, product review? Okay, delimited, which which is delimited with triple quotes, right? Or triple backticks. But in this case, they're not using backticks. Instead, they're using a quote with triple quotes or triple backticks. Okay. So what is the sentiment of the following product review, which is delimited with triple backticks? This is the review text, and following is part of the tactics, especially for writing prompt, which is, well, let's make me a quick recap of that. So the first principle is write clear and specific instructions with a couple of tactics, like uh, yeah, with a couple of tactics. Um, yeah, with a couple of tactics. Okay, like, well, first use the limiters to clearly identify different part of your inputs, whether it's triple backticks, triple quotes, triple dash. You can also use dash here. Let me use dash here. Okay, just for demo purpose. Okay, okay, which is delimited with triple dashes. Okay, um, angle bracket as well, or XML tags. Ask for a structured data, whether it's JSON, HTML, or any other format. Check whether the condition is satisfied to do the task, as well as the assumptions, and few shoutings. So provide a model with a couple examples. In this case, there is no need for that. Okay, but you can, okay, provide the model with couple examples to do the task, and then ask the model to perform the task. And the other principle is the second, the last one. So give the model time to think, much like a person when you ask them to complete a complex math problem. and you don't give them the proper time to solve that, to figuring out the answer, they will likely to give that wrong. Okay? So they will likely, yeah, it's likely, or they will likely to give it wrong. So much like here, especially when you are getting incorrect conclusions based on erroneous reasoning, what you can do is reframe that. So what you in this case, okay, so by reframing, you mean is well, give the model a couple examples or a chains of reasoning to perform the task. And there are several tactics. So first, ask or instruct the model to give you step to complete the task. Okay? Or instruct the model to figuring out its solutions before rushing into a conclusion. So for example, when you have a math problem and the student solutions, so instruct the model, hey, I want you to figuring out the solution on this math problem, compare them with the student solutions, and ultimately give me if that is right or wrong. Okay? So compare your result with the student and tell me if you have the same result or not. Okay. So this is kind of the thing that what I'm doing here. Okay. So what is the sentiment of the following product review, which is delimited with triple dashes. Okay. And the sentiment of the product review is positive. Okay. You can also sorry. So you can also instruct the model to give you the answer. Again, part of the conditions. Give your answer as a single word, either positive or negative. And he say, well, it's positive. Okay, this is if you want to get the result as just one single string. Okay. And now, when it comes to identify type of emotions, here, so I'm asking here, identify a list of emotions that the writer of the following review is expressing. So let me do this again. Okay, so identify a list of emotions that the writer of the what the heck? What the hell? Okay, that the writer of the following review is expressing. Okay? So let me do this first, right? Satisfaction, gratitude, happiness, contentment, appreciation, admiration, trust. Okay? So provide me, okay, or include no more than 5 words. Include no more than 5 items. Okay. Satisfaction, gratitude, appreciation, trust, and confidence. You can say, well, below that, provide the format. Provide or format. Okay, format your answer. Yeah, format your answer. Okay, format your answer as a list. Okay, format your answer as a list of lowercase string. Now format your answer as a list of lowercase uh, separated by commas. Okay, you can say something like this. Okay. And then you got is this. So happy, satisfied, grateful, impressed, and content. So here what you're doing is, well, instruct the model to identify the type of emotion on this review and give me a limit of that, and as well as the format. So the structured data that you ask. The other is like, well, identify anger, identify specific emotions. Is the writer of the following review expressing hate? Okay. So is the writer of the following review expressing hate? The review is delimited delimited with okay, the review is limited with triple backticks. Okay, the review is limited with triple backticks. Alright. And oh my god, no. And give your answer or format your answer. So format your answer with yes or no. In lowercase. In lowercase. Exactly, you know? But after all, that's part of the iterative process. So anytime you're writing a new prompt, okay, so following is this machine learning development workflow where you got the idea and then you move to the implementation of data and the code, and ultimately you get the experimental results, figuring out what went wrong by performing is the error analysis and iterate. So from the machine learning development, much of this applied to the prompt engineering, where you have an idea, you write the prompt, you get the results. Most of the time, they are not the output or the result that you expect. Understanding, figuring out why you don't get that, refine your prompts, and iterate. So this is this process, right? Now, extract products and company name from customer review. Okay. My question is that do you know who is Cancerbero? But that's actually nothing in line with this. Okay. It is funny because once I ask for that data, it tells me as an AI language model, I do not have personal opinion or belief, but I can provide information. Cancerbero is a Venezuelan rapper and singer who was known for his dark and aggressive style of music. He passed away in 2015. He passed away. He passed away. Okay. So, okay, okay. So let me now is write this. No.
All of these classifiers this about this lab review and extract.
So is this. So extract products and company name from customer review. Okay. So first, identify. Okay. extract products and company name from customer review. So identify the following. Okay, identify the following items from the review text. Item purchase. Item purchased by reviewer. Okay. Company that made the item. Okay, company that made the items. Come on, man. Except we don't have access to the specific review text are you referring to. Please provide me with the review text so that I can identify the items you're looking for. Okay. So the review is delimited with triple backticks. Okay, so the review is delimited with triple backticks. Okay, with triple backticks. Oh my god. Format wireless headphone company that made the item both. The review is limited with triple backticks. Where do you get this last information? Where do you get that last output? Yeah, okay, whatever. Identify the following item from the review text. Item purchased by reviewer, company that made the items, and then you specify is, so this is the condition, and then you specify is the outputs, right? Items to search and the output. So the review is limited with triple backticks. Format your response as a JSON object with item and brand as keys. So if the item purchased by reviewer, brand, company that made the items. Okay. Of course, from this item. If the information is in present, use unknown to handle error case. Unknown as value, as a value. So, now this is the review. Exactly, because there is no review text, so this is the review text, right? So using is triple backticks and passing here using the curly brackets, lamb review. Okay, now the model is able to get that. So item lamp and brand lumina. Also you instruct here, so make your line with additional storage, make your response as short as possible. LAN with additional storage. Mm-hmm. Doing multiple tests, and this is now doing multiple tests at once. So here you are identifying different things. Okay, so for example, you say, hey, identify the following items from the review text, okay, such as sentiment, positive or negative. Okay, so identify the following items from the review text. Sentiment is the reviewer. Now identify a particularly, uh, a particularly or specific emotion. Is the reviewer expressing anger as true or false? True or false? Check the positive or negative. Item purchase. Item purchased by reviewer. Oh, come on, man. And the item purchased by reviewer and company that made the item. Okay? And the review, say, the review is delimited with triple backticks. Okay? And format your response as a JSON object with the following as the following. Yeah, format your response as a JSON object like this. Okay. You have sentiment, and the value, sentiment, anger, item, and brand. Okay. If the data isn't if the data isn't present, use unknown. As the value. Format anger as a boolean as a value. Exactly, positive, false, lamp, and Lumia. Format your response as a JSON object with keys like this. Exactly. Sentiment, with keys like sentiment, anger, item, and brand. So here what you're instructing the model is to perform several tasks at once, which is great. And then inferring topic. So giving a particular story here, right? So now I just want us to determine 5 topics that are being discussed in the following text. So determine 5 topics that are being discussed in the following text. Delimited by triple backticks. Okay, delimited by triple backticks. Make each item 1 or 2 words long. Okay. So format your response as a list of items separated by a comma. So format your response as a list of items separated by comma. Okay, so now that I get all of this, result of the government survey on the public sector employee satisfaction, NASA and the most popular department with a high satisfaction rating, coming from NASA employees and director on the service Social Security Administration as a department with the lowest satisfaction ratings in government employees. So you can summarize this with just one word, okay? By saying, hey, make each item 1 or 2 words long. Survey results, NASA, job satisfaction, Social Security Administration, and government response. So what you can do here is before give me the response for that, make each item 1 or 2 words long and then format that. Okay, government survey, public sector employee, job satisfactions, NASA, Social Security Administration, and employee concerns. So if I keep looking at for example, now this,
of a list.
okay. However, because I'm not indicating how long that
Of
can be,
topics, and of course you can
okay. So response split by comma separate here values, government survey, public sector employees, job satisfaction, NASA, and Social Security Administration.
also, you know,
Which is delimited. And then what you can do is make this topics, infer these topics, all right? Infer this topic and count them for them, as well as make a news alert for certain topics. Mhm. Interesting. Interesting. And now when it comes to transforming, okay, that was just example of inferring, okay? The key prompt or yeah, what is it? So the key prompts for that. So the prompt keywords or topics only inferring are sentiment, positive or negative, identify the emotion, identify type of emotion. So for example, on a user review, information extraction, for example, company or product names, doing multiple queries or multiple tasks at once. So like identifies the emotion, so identifies the sentiment as well as the type of sentiments based on this review, for example. Uh, Information extractions and then inferring topics. Okay, the inferring topics. I want to look at the transforming here. So Andrew G mentioned that LLMs are very good at transforming. Okay, so LLMs are very good at transforming its input into a different format. Okay, so LLMs are very good at transforming its input, or these large language models are very good at transforming its input into a different format. So when I ask even to ChatGPT about what are the different formats it can handle, it goes from HTML, CSS, any programming language, any natural language, HTML, JSON, CSV, TSV, LaTeX, which is more for research peer review document, to create mathematical equations. If I LaTeX and not that kind of LaTeX, okay, okay, online LaTeX editor. Mm, a document preparation system. It's like a type settings for scientific, for technical. Okay, LaTeX. It's a type system with a type setting. Okay, a document preparation system. The LaTeX project. So LaTeX is a high-quality type setting. It includes features designed for the production of technical and scientific documents. LaTeX is the facto standard for the communication and publication of scientific documents. LaTeX is available as free software. But again, this is being used as the standard for the communication and publication of scientific documents. So, okay. Mhm. It's a document preparation system used for the communications and publication of scientific documents. Okay, okay, that's right, that's right. So, after all, LLMs, especially on transformers, and LLMs are very good at transforming the it is inputs into a different format. Okay, so text transforming or translations from one language to another, or helping with spelling and grammar corrections, even transforming formats such as inputting HTML to a JSON. Okay, so Isa Fulford mentioned that she used ChatGPT for pretty much proofread everything she writes, and that's a very interesting way of using ChatGPT. Okay, especially for copywriters as well as yeah, for copywriter most of the time. So a way of proofread everything she writes. Okay, good. by the way. Good. So prompt keywords and topics. So this is the topic or keywords that you can use especially for transforming. Okay, so translate, language identifications, formal or informal form, formal when you address to a senior or in a professional environment, tone and transformations, format conversion, spell checking, and grammar checks. So that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.